Hey guys, this is Mel and welcome back. I'm going to talk about Shadowhunters, 2 episodes, 301 titled On Infernal Ground, which premiered Tuesday, March 20th, 2018 on Freeform, as well as episode 302 titled The Powers That Be, which premiered on March 27th on Freeform. I watch it on Netflix, so it's a day afterwards, but I am recording on April 1st, 2018 as I just finished watching 302 on Netflix. So huge spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the 2 episodes, please go do so first, then come back and see what to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourself of those. Also, as well, in regard to the books, I've only read the first 3 books, and it's maybe been about 10 years since I've read the 3. I read them when it was only the 3 of them that were available. So it's been a while, so not only is my memory fuzzy, but I'm pretty sure that whatever's going to happen in this season, it's surpassed book 3, so it's going to be a huge shock for me. But otherwise, I'm going to try to do this in 20 minutes. So let's start with the clock and let's begin with what happened in 301. So timeline wise, it's the next day from the events of the season 2 finale. Pretty much there's the celebrating party from the finale that we got with them celebrating the fact that Valentine was stopped. That is being referenced as the night before in regards to what's happening in 302's events. So there is that. Huge episode reminder, not only is the fact that it is the season 3 premiere, but you kind of get, despite it being the next day after, apparently a lot has changed because of Valentine's downfall, which I'll get into. Now, the first moment of the episode shows Demon Mom. I guess you can call her. We know her as Lilith, but she hasn't been named on the show yet. But she tends to Jonathan, who's still wearing the face of Sebastian Birlac, and she looks to be covered in tar, or I guess that's the only way I could really resemble her appearance. But she definitely looks like Jonathan's, I guess, demonic face, if you want to put it, when he's not wearing glamour, so I'll leave it at that. But episode breakdown, I picked up 3 different storylines. I'll try not to go into too much detail about them, but the first one is pretty much the demon possession murders that's been happening around town. As well as the second one being Simon's time in the Sealy court. As you remember, he made a deal to save Maya from her clutches. And then also the third one being Jace's nightmares. So with the first storyline, though, we get a character named Tim, who is a nurse, and he gets possessed by a demon, and he goes on a killing spree. And he apparently is being possessed by a demon that takes orders from Lilith from it. But in this we see Clary going up against a possessed Tim all by herself, and the demon's a bug-looking thing, so I'll leave it at that. But Simon in the Sealy court for number 2, we get Simon singing. We also get Simon getting branded on the forehead, and apparently only a daylighter could survive such a branding ceremony. So there is that as well. Also, the Sealy Queen is back in her little girl persona. It's not being played by Sarah Hyland anymore, so there's that. Makes it a little weird, I guess, in a way, just because of the age difference thing, but definitely throws you off. But anyways, and also with Jace's nightmares for the third one, he is being taunted by Jonathan, telling him to kill Clary in these nightmares. And yeah, not sure if it's because of I'll get into my concerns about that later. But the last moments of the premiere have, again, Demon Mom, Lilith, telling this new demon to gather the remaining 33 of her disciples, even though one of hers was killed by Clary. So I'm assuming that was 34 disciples, 35 with the main demon that she's consorting with or talking to. So there's that. We're down to 34, I guess. But anyways, character-wise, we get Gia Penhollow being mentioned as the new council and the potential new boss of Alec, which I'll get into in a bit. Also, we get Ollie. We find out that she was attacked by a wolf 4.5 years ago. 4.5 years ago, I should say. 4.5. Duh. I guess she wasn't turned into a werewolf, but that's what kind of got her into searching into wolf attacks and all that. She's actually told the truth about Luke later on, but I'll get into that later. Alina is mentioned by Alec, Alina Pinhollow, as you remember, also the cousin of the real Sebastian Bierlach. So there's that. Again, Lilith, the mysterious demon mom, that is not named yet in the show. If you want, I immediately recognized her as Oliver Queen's baby mama on the show Arrow. So there's that. She does mention her husband Adam and how he apparently cursed her to be barren. So there's that. Also, the demon that Lilith is talking to with the weird face. Assuming that is a wraith demon, because they keep mentioning how the wraith demons from the season 2 finale are still somewhere in the city. So I'm assuming this demon is a wraith demon. Also, Katarina, we finally meet her. She's the warlock nurse that is friends with Magnus, also the one that's taking care of Madzi. So there's that. And also you meet new character, Dr. Charlie, who shows an interest in Isabel at the same hospital that Katarina works in. So in regard to runes, we do get the angelic power rune that is given to all full Shadowhunters, which Clary does receive in honor of her defeating Valentine. She's no longer a Shadowhunter in training, so there's that. We also get mentions of the Parabatai rune, again mentioned by Alec that it disappeared when Jace had died, and he's trying to get to the bottom of that. Also, we get Clary's sunlight rune. She uses it to kill Tim the demon. So there's that. Now, tidbits, though, I'll rush through this very quickly, but since it is the premiere, we do get a lot of position changes happening around. With Claire, we get her graduating to being a full Shadowhunter. With Alec, he was offered a position on the council in Idris. It's assumed that he's turned it down because he tells Magnus that he's not going anywhere. With Izzy, she is the new weapons master at the Institute. And with Magnus, he is not the High Warlock anymore due to his work with the Seelie Queen when everyone was searching for Valentine. So there's that. Also, we go into signature weapons. We get it clarified that Alec's signature weapon is the bow and arrow. Jace's has the Seraph Blade. Izzy has her whip. We all know this. It's their go-to weapon. So Clary has to choose her signature weapon now that she's a full Shadowhunter. Originally, she picked dual Kinjal blades. Apparently, they happen to be the former blades of Valentine and Jocelyn. But later on, Luke makes a reference to the fact that Clary's actual signature weapon is her stele, as she creates all these runes and stuff. So not sure if that's her official signature weapon or not, the stele, but there's that. And I'm realizing just now, as I'm reading all this stuff, a lot of this stuff is not repeated in 302. So I'll get to that in the later. But also we see Raphael. He's doing his own experiments going on. It looks like he's trying to create a new daylighter, or he's trying to recreate what Simon possibly could have. I did some research, and it seems like the girl that Raphael is experimenting on is the one that was connected to Simon when he was in that club binge phase of his, vampire club binge thing, when he was originally suspected of murder. So there's that. And also we get Izzy dealing with her Yinfen cravings, and that is with sugar. So lots of candy is helping her there. Now moving on to 302. Timeline-wise, I don't believe it's that long after 301. I really don't. But it doesn't specifically say how long it's been. So there's that. Episode reminder. Pretty much we learn what ley lines are, and we get a bunch of double dates. Or I shouldn't say that, we get a double date. So there's that. First moment of the episode shows Magnus and Alec attending a party to welcome Lorenzo Ray as the new High Warlock of Brooklyn. Magnus says that it is tradition that the former High Warlock, aka Magnus, attends to pass the baton over to his replacement, which is Lorenzo. So there's that. During that, they get an attack. But anyways, moving on to the breakdown for the episode. 3 storylines once again. The first one being the corrupt Leyline storyline. Second one being date night. And pretty much couple dynamic, I guess you could say. And the third one being Luke and Izzy trying to look into the possessions that started in the previous episode. So with the first storyline with the corrupt ley lines, we learn that ley lines is the magic source for all warlocks and sealings, and they could be corrupted, which is what Lilith has been doing in the previous episode. with the blood of the corrupted souls from the looks of it. Anyways, Magnus and Alec look into this when they come to realize the corruption at the party to welcome Lorenzo Ray. Also, we find out that the Institute has this angelic core, and the reason why the Institute is not built on a ley line is so that the ley line doesn't corrupt the angelic core and vice versa, but they use the angelic core to cleanse the corrupt ley lines. So I'll leave it at that. It's a lot more than I want to get into. But the date night, though, pretty much we get to see little glimpses of Simon with Maya, Jace with Clary, and then they end up going on a double date with each other, and then they find out that they're each other's exes. Now, obvious one being Simon and Clary, who then find out that Jace and Maya actually hooked up before, so they got a little thing there, which leads to certain confessions among the two couples, so there's that. Also, you could kind of classify Magnus and Alec having a date night before it got interrupted with the whole mystery of what's happening with the ley line, so I'll leave it at that. With the third storyline, Luke gives Izzy the footage of Tim and his whereabouts, and she finds the footage of the unknown demon that attacked him. And apparently it's one that she nor Jace have ever seen before. So there's that. Last moments of the episode show Simon's brand by the Sealy Queen getting activated when the wolves try to force him to leave. When they were getting ready to beat him, the brand activated and kind of gave this powerful force to protect him. So there's that. Character-wise, though, we meet Lorenzo Ray, the new High Warlock of Brooklyn. He was voted that new title, and apparently he's 484 years old. So there's that. Now, also we get name-dropped Asmodeus. He is the most powerful Prince of Hell. He's also Magnus's father. And I just gotta say, it's very different from the supernatural version of Asmodeus. It's both spelled the exact same way. You can see that I kind of hesitate on how to remember how they said it in the show. But Shadowhunters, it's Asmodeus. He's the most powerful of the Prince of Hells. And with his signature demonic magic signature. Well, on Supernatural, Asmodeus, he is the weakest of the Prince of Hells and created by Lucifer. So there is that. I was definitely shocked that they introduced the Asmodeus concept into the show, especially when earlier this year, Supernatural, they introduced Asmodeus, but they name-dropped him last year. So there's that. Also, Katarina, again, the nurse warlock who's taking care of Madsy, who we also get to see in this episode, and she's adorable at the party. So there's that. Also, with Lilith, again, she's not named in the episode, but she now has 4 new possessors under her reign. So I'm guessing that's 4 of her disciples that she had mentioned of the 33 in the previous episode. So there's that. Also, Raj and some Shadowhunters, because of their disobedience against Alec's orders, they get banished to Wrangel Island, where Alec sees them needing some character development. Also, Russell and his wolves, they want Simon out. They don't like the fact that he's not only sleeping on their territory, but also consorting with Maya, one of their own. So that causes tensions at the very end. So there's that. So I'll leave it at that. But runes, though, we get Jace mentioning the strength, the speed, and the Iratzi rune. And then we have Alec activating a rune, which I believe is the strength rune because he needed that rune in order to move a rusted handle out of its place. So I'll leave it at that. Tidbits, though, I'll go into the fact that Luke tells Izzy to take it easy with the work. She's kind of taking on more work to allow everybody else to have a life. And he tells her that she needs to give herself time for herself. And eventually, with that time, she could find someone special, as she's kind of feeling like the 5th wheel out, I guess you could say. Also, we have Jace continuing to have nightmares about killing Clary. I'm wondering if this is strictly because of his insecurities of not wanting to mess things up with Clary, and it's just taking it to the extreme of killing her, or if it truly is because of his resurrection and his possible connection to Jonathan. So there's that. Also, we have Izzy is seen working on the demon detecting necklace that she was first given in episode 104 by Magnus. Seems that I'm not sure if the jewel was still cracked, but she was taking it out of its necklace setting. So I'm not sure if there was an importance there or just to show that it's still in her possession. So there's that. Moving on, the most shocking moment of the episode. For 301, I have to say when Nurse Tim, when he's possessed and then he gets all contorted when he faces off against Clary, and then he just busts out of the bug thing. Initially, when Tim is twisting and turning like that, it was so gross. I was cringing, and that was probably my most shocking thing, the fact that it got to be that disturbing that I was seeing. So there's that. For the shocking moment for 302, it would have to be the Asmodeus, the most powerful prince of hell, is the demon father of Magnus. I was not expecting that whatsoever. Originally, I thought that Lorenzo was alluding to the fact that Magnus had maybe in a relationship with Asmodeus back in the day, and that's why he was kind of being viewed as, like, you could side with him because of your history with him, but then to find out it's actually because they're related. I was not expecting that at all. So anyways, moving on to top 3 favorite moments. For 301, I have to say Alec and Magnus were a huge part, just from the connection between the two of them, how they're standing by each other's side, and just the support they have with each other. I like that a lot of the scenes they had together, it was either one or both of them were trying to show their support towards each other, and then just having an honest talk with each other. I really like that. Another favorite was the one scene between Magnus and Raphael, and just a reminder that Magnus did raise Raphael in a sense, and just to have that comforting level between them. It was very interesting to see. I always like those scenes, despite the fact that it was a very emotional scene for Raphael, so I'll leave it at that. Another favorite of mine has to be the training scene between Jace and Clary. It was always great to see them show off their skills like that, especially when they get to activate their full angel blood power. I forget what I called it last time, but it's great to see that part be activated with, like, Jace's eyes and stuff like that glowing, and Clary with her special runes. It's great to see that. Also, another favorite of mine was the celebratory responses. I really love the support that you get with Izzy and Clary. Both in Alicante, when Clary got her rune to show that she got promoted to a full Shadowhunter, and then when Izzy revealed to Clary that she is a new weapon specialist, I really like the true joy that they each had for each other in that moment. That was great support there. I also like the support that Magnus gave to Alec when Alec told him about the potential job offer he was given, despite his own reservations on not wanting Alec to go. Magnus still showed that he was happy and proud that Alec was given that offer. So there's that. Also, another favorite of mine was the moment between Luke and Clary when they were on that walk, and then Luke was just telling Clary that those are your parents' blades, and just telling her that they're both a part of you, both the light and the dark, and just that bonding moment between them. I really like that. But moving to 302, a huge favorite of mine has to take place during the date night scene. And while the double date was not my favorite, what came after that double date, the confessions that Jace gave to Clary, as well as what Maya gave to Simon, those two were really fantastic. I really like seeing these couples separate. When they're together, they're a little awkward, but I really like the confession, especially with Jace and Clary. Jace really went into full detail about how he felt and why Clary is different than all the other girls he's been with. And then with Maya, she's telling Simon that it doesn't matter who they were with in the past, it matters what they want now, and the fact that they want each other was what it was all about. And I really like that. So it was great to see how these two very different couples, shine in their own way. So there's that. Another favorite of mine was Alec and Magnus. Just trying to figure out the ley lines together, as well as the little domestic vibe you got at the very beginning. It was very interesting to see how they mix the business side of things with their personal. So that was a great balance between the two there. Also, seeing Alec with Madsy was just adorable, and then Magnus getting to see that was just fantastic. Also, another small thing I want to mention is that Simon has the greatest comebacks. I found his witty banter to be amazing, especially with Jace. It's just, they play off each other so well. It's like, I don't know. I love it. And then also I liked when Luke gave his support to Izzy and trying to give her some advice, kind of taking her under his wing. At one point I had the crazy thought that maybe something could happen between the two before I pushed that away. But you never know. You never know with shows sometimes. So I'll leave it at that. But moving on to top 3 peeved moments. For 302, my biggest peeve was Ollie. She just does not know when to stop. I kind of wish that she was not told about the truth about the Shadowhunter world. I mean, originally when she revealed that she was attacked by a wolf, and I was going to be totally on board if she happened to be a werewolf and she's trying to find answers and others of her own kind, because maybe like she's been kept in the dark and never came across anyone like her since her attack and she's trying to find answers, then okay, I was going to be so for it. Then I can understand her persistence because she wants to find answers. But then the fact that she isn't a werewolf, she wasn't turned, and it could have just been a random normal wolf that attacked her, then I was like, no, okay, Ollie's just going to be bugging me again. She's just a mundane who just doesn't know when to stop pushing her nose in when it's not supposed to. So she's going to be a constant annoyance, and then threatening Luke to expose him is just, no, I'm all done with Ollie. She had her small moment of where I was like, okay, I get on board with this if she was actually a werewolf too, but then she's not. She's just a very nosy human. So I was like, no, there's a timer. I'm almost done, promise. 302, as mentioned before, a peeve for that was the double date aspect. I mean, I cringed just watching it because I could feel the awkwardness, and I felt so, it's like, you felt so bad that they're in this situation, but you can't help but watch to see how it happens. It's just, I couldn't stop cringing at how uncomfortable you could feel they were in. It was just, so that was a peeve of mine. I always, if I could feel the awkwardness and it physically affects me in a way, like I'm cringing and I really don't want to watch, but I kind of have to watch. Sometimes if it's really bad, I can't watch it. I can't see a train wreck like that happen. So it's like, yeah, so that was a peeve there. But moving on, what will I remember most when I look back on the 2 episodes? For 301, I gotta say we got to see Idris. It definitely had me, it definitely reminded me of some very beautiful Greek surroundings, for sure. I kind of hope that we get to see more of a tour with Idris, just to see how they pull it off. But that full-on establishing shot that they had was really, really cool. For 302, though, the fact that it was the double date with the exes, huge reminder, even though it wasn't the main focus of the episode, the fact that it's the relatable aspect that us mundanes can have to it. So there's that. Moving on to random questions, though. Based off of 301, main question being, what is Raphael doing? Is he trying to create his own daylighter? Pretty positive that's what he's doing, but until we get confirmation in the show, that's going to be in the questions. Second question is, how long can Clary and Chase keep their wish a secret? The fact that she wished for his resurrection by the angel Brazil. How long are they going to keep that a secret? And is it really wise to keep it from Alec and from Izzy? Even though it's understandable why they would, because Alec is in a higher position, he would have to report them. But anyways, last question for 301. Why didn't Clary call for backup against the demon? I kind of wish she did, but then it's a smart move if she did. But then on the other hand, I kind of know that they didn't, just to showcase how much she's grown and that she can take on these demons by herself. But the smart move would have been if she called him for backup. I mean, Luke can't just be her only backup, right? So there's that. Now, 302, those questions are, first one, how long has Magnus been the High Warlock of Brooklyn? Was that ever stated in the show? I know it has to have been stated in the books, but I can't seem to remember the length of time without looking it up. And I really don't want to look it up and spoil it. So there's that. Also, second question, is the altar or Lilith's altar the only way to corrupt the ley lines like she has been doing for the last 2 episodes? Or does it do something else more than just pile the blood into a certain place? So there's that. Last question. Why would the Seelie Queen brand Simon with something that seems to protect him, or is that just the beginning of something greater? I have a really bad feeling that brain is going to change Simon in some ways. And I don't know. Everyone keeps saying that it's the mark of Cain, and and I can't help but think of the mark of Cain on Supernatural and how that Mark slowly corrupted and changed Dean to a very more aggressive version of himself. So I'm wondering if something similar is going to happen to Simon. And there's got to be a reason why only a daylighter could survive that type of a ceremony for it. So there's that. But moving on to predictions very quickly. Based off the promo for 303, it's a weird format for a promo because it pretty much looks like a sneak peek clip. And it's that Jace, Clary, and Izzy are searching for Jonathan at a club. And it looks like Jace spots Jonathan looking like Sebastian and goes to confront him. And that's about it for the promo, which is really weird. So there's that. Based on the synopsis, though, for the episode, it reads that the Shadowhunters try to track down the new imposing threat, while Jace has a suspicion that Jonathan is back and behind the mundane attacks. Simon tries to figure out what the Seelie Queen did to him during his time in the Glade, and Alec decides to host a Lightwood family dinner at Magnus's house after a surprising visit from Maris. Now, the previews that showed for 303 had 3 different clips, one of them being the promo itself. So there's that. The second clip being Clary finding Jace still awake at like 4 in the morning. He uses his stamina rune so that he could continue to watch the footage because he's determined to find Jonathan. And apparently 7 mundanes have been murdered in the last 48 hours. So there's that. And also Jace thinks that Jonathan had glamored himself to be the owl demon that they are looking for. The owl demon being the one that attacked Nurse Tim. Also, I just remembered that Luke had given Izzy a time frame when he gave her the file, so I should probably go back and see that. But anyways, the third clip had Luke confronting Russell about him and the other wolves attacking Simon, and then they name dropped that the wolf that got attacked by Simon's new branding was named Glenn, and you don't know if he's ever going to walk again because of how powerful that attack was. So anyways, that's about it for the 2 episodes. Pretty great start for the most part. But what did you guys think of the 2 episodes? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and opinions about what you think is going to happen next. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I reblog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place, so go check it out. I'm a little behind on updating, but I hope to get back into it soon. But also, if you want, check out my WordPress account. The link for that is down below. A little more organized, still a work in progress, but do keep that in mind when you check that out. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next time to see what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week where you are. Bye for now.